How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. So quick little thing on what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be covering Bitcoin. I got a little update I'd like to share regarding Bitcoin per a technical analysis review. The next thing we're going to go over is how I plan on genuinely making $10,000 a month in crypto in a bear market. So we're going to be going over that, giving you guys all the details regarding that and plans that I have for a bear market in general. So all that's going to be described today. But first of all, like I said, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. So let's jump into it. So the first thing we are going to do is switch to Bitcoin. We are now at around $111,000. Perfect rejection off of this level. Recently in July, we faced a decent bit of support here. We also formulated a bullish for value gap. If you look at bullish for value gaps, I don't think there's any order blocks yet near there. So bullish for value gaps definitely being respected here. We tapped into it. There was previous support here that is still respected to be support. Now, one thing that I noticed is if you guys go and look at the EMA 100, we closed below right here. So just a couple days ago, the August 29th, the 30th, we were still below. The 31st, we were still below. September 1st, we were still below. Now today, if in 2 hours we can get a daily close above this level and flip this essentially from resistance to support, then that gives me a lot more a higher sign that there's more strength within the markets to continue forward. Like I said, I do still think that we're going to have more opportunities within the market to potentially get better buys at these levels. Like I said, a scenario here is that we fail to reclaim and we come down, we break this level. If we break this level, we come down here, we tap 104K, so that 200-day EMA, where I know people who have some bids there, aka buys. So I know people who have some buys around $104,000 also on this 200-day EMA line that we haven't really tapped in a while. We actually, the last time would have been in April where we were trading slightly below that. But as you can see, what I expect to have happen is we potentially come down, tap the demand zone, if we do fall below there before coming up. Kind of like, if I just show you something simple, like let's say we're trading above this EMA, then we fall below, we bounce off it, for example, and then we come back up, something like that. If we see something like this, then I would expect that to happen if we do tap this demand zone. So lowest I think we could hit is this demand zone, which would be the top of it would be around 98K. Before moving back up to form a new all-time high, the second lowest I go or think we could go is that 200-day EMA where we bounce off of at $104,000 roughly. So those are the two areas where I see us potentially going. We could potentially bounce off of this area, like I said, yet again. But I think, again, if we are able to close above this 100-day EMA on the daily time frame, then that would look pretty good for me. So we're trading above the 50-day EMA, potentially the 100-day EMA, and potentially the 200-day EMA within the next couple of weeks to a couple of months. So that 50-day EMA could be respected, or is still being respected here. We were trading below it a little bit on the 4-hour time frame. So on the 4-hour time frame, it does look to be those higher EMAs, the 200-day, the 100-day, does look to be a tad bit concerning there. But though the data that we really want to look for is that daily time frame data where clearly we're still trading above like the 100-day EMA in this situation. So that's the first thing that I would say is notable. What I see potentially happening is if we treat that line as support, we could come up and begin a set of higher highs, higher lows, indicating we flipped back into bullish structure, pushing us to potentially a new all-time high around the 130,000s, which would definitely be sick to see. I think we're going to go there inevitably at some place in time. We're just going to have to see how this all plays out. But that's my Bitcoin update. So that's just some of the thoughts that I have on Bitcoin, purely, again, from a technical analysis perspective. From last video, not much has changed from ETH. really just a bunch of indecision. We're still clearly in bear structure here, lower highs, lower lows, so not much really update on that. So let's just get into the juice. How do I plan on making 10K a month in a bear market? This is going to be the video for you guys where I'm going to be showing you guys. So I'm going to be introducing you guys to something that it's only been covered on X posts. I've shared trades I do, TikToks, like short form content, which are posted to this channel. But this is more so a video on how I plan to make 10K a month with, of course, crypto, specifically in a bear market. So first of all, guys, here is back testing data. And so if you don't know what you're looking at right now, what I essentially did here, this is 2025. So of course, we've been through January and August, we're on to September now. So we're looking at data from January to August. What I did was I tested a strategy, okay? I tested a strategy for the entirety of 2025 that we've had so far, every single day. And I never accounted for days you wouldn't trade due to potential bad news that came out that would influence price action. So this would be macroeconomic data, this would be conflicts, that all was not considered for. So I literally just, which means you could have made potentially even more money having skipped out on some of those days if the price action went past your favor, for example. So essentially, from back testing my data, you guys can see January was plus 23R. What this essentially means is when I say R, I mean the risk to reward ratio. So this is where I bring up the 10K a month. If I go and buy a funded account for around $1,100 and it's a $100,000 account, I get to pass it, for example, and I'm risking 1% per trade. So that means every trade I take, if it hits stop loss, I lose $1,000. If I have 2R on that trade, that means I'm risking $1,000 to make $2,000. If it's a 3R trade and I'm risking, remember, 1% per trade, that means for every 1% or for every one I'm risking, I'm making 3. So if I'm risking $1,000 on 3R, I hope to make 3K. If I'm risking, again, 1K for 4R, then I'd make $4,000, if that makes sense. It should be not too hard to understand. So with that in mind, I literally calculated, I went through, added up the totals for every single month of this year so far using the method that I trade with. And you guys can clearly see January 23R, plus 23R, that's $23,000 on a 100K account. Now, for a lot of you saying, wow, that is a vast amount of money, it is. But to put it in perspective, if you would have went and bought a 10K account, which is around $100, or maybe it's around $60, I don't remember. If you go buy a 10K account for around $60, well, this would be $2,300 for that month, which is still, by the way, a lot of money. That's a 23% gain on your portfolio within just 1 month. Of course, spot trading crypto gets a lot higher than that. But in terms of trading, something that you're going to actively pursue like a job, because that's essentially what this is, what you could essentially do in that, for example, let's say you just got you did a lot of back testing, you got the method mastered down, and you decide to start trading in January. If you start with a 10K account, by the way, most of them you need to pass is a 10% increase, so taking a $10,000 account to $11,000. So with January that we have here, 10% would be 10R. So what you would do then is you're halfway into January, you're up 10R, the account's passed. You then would make $1,300 your first month trading the strategy, because 10R would take you to pass the account. 13R would then make you $1,300 if you're risking 1% per trade. Yeah. So that is, it's crazy, because what that then means is you have $1,300 left over. You can go buy a 100K account. So let's say you have a $100,000 account now. February comes around, $100,000, you get the account passed, as you can see. Then with that 2.5 R left over, you would end February netting $2.5 thousand. Now, it is a 90-10 split, most of them, until you get your own capital to work with. Still, you're netting $2,000+ left over in the month of February. So now you have a $100,000 account that's passed. Let's assume you don't get any more, which, yes, you can stack some. March comes around, plus 6R, you just made $6,000 in March. April comes around, you've made $9,000 in April. May comes around, you made 10K. June was crazy. Again, I'm gonna figure out how I wanna relay this information on the strategy, because I don't know. I don't know if I wanna do it for free or not. Just because like it would benefit me a lot to, of course, have this be paid information, but like it would not be anything crazy. Because this is genuinely something that's crazy. What I think I will do is, because I'm going to be completely honest here, I have only back tested this. I have traded just small margins on like test accounts, but also on like very small prop firm accounts. I've traded small margins on there, but I have not taken this fully seriously. I've now done countless hours of back testing, refined this strategy to the point where I'm very comfortable in actually going out and making a lot of money with this. So I think what the plan would be was to find financial success within myself. Now, psychology is like the biggest thing in trading to learn. So I could share this method with myself and with other people, but if we don't have the right psychology, then it doesn't matter. You can give a 10 out of 10 setup, but the right psychology is needed to actually execute on that. But anyways, $100,000 account, guys. June comes around, you made $25,000, $25,500. Of course, 90-10 split, it'd be 23K, somewhere around there. July would be $12,000, August would be 14K. So January and June were the outliers for sure. Then April and March were the lower ones. But the thing is, guys, you can literally stack these accounts. So you can get a 100K account, you can get another 100K account. There's software that interlinks all of them together so that you make a trade on one and paste on all of the rest. So you stack all these accounts, so now you're trading with $500,000 or then $1 million in funding. It's decently harder to find brokerages, especially in the United States, or prop firms, specifically for those in the US. For those of you in Europe, it should not be too hard for you to find reputable prop firms. I'll go out, the first one I would recommend for US, and again, it's not that high of a quality one, but it is one that you can use, is Breakout. This is a one that you in the US are going to be able to use. This is one that I use. So highly recommend checking out Breakout. The other two, I don't remember the second one. I know one is Crypto Fund Trader. So that is another prop firm. However, they're specialized with, or they're synced with Bybit now. Bybit you can't use in the US. So you can't use Bybit. Crypto Fund Trader, for those of you in Europe or anywhere where you can use Bybit, you can use Crypto Fund Trader. The third one is called, it's Clavio. It's something. I don't know. It starts with a K. I can't remember. Nonetheless, you can build all these accounts up, trade with them, make money, then take all that money and put it into something like Blowfin, where you then are playing with your own money and you keep 100% of your wins, essentially. So you keep 100% of what you make trading, because now it's in your own account and you can still trade with other accounts. But you can, if that makes sense, you want to get to a point where you're trading with your own capital. By the way, like I said, I have not ever passed account. So that just being full transparency. But again, back testing this does work. I have made trades where I've seen this work. And again, I'll get more into it, but I want to just show you guys now that this is what I have been up to. This is what I've been working on behind the scenes, getting more into technical analysis, into trading, as a way to actually make an income with crypto, rather than simply buying and holding coins and continuously cycling profits from that, being an actual leverage trader. And this, like I said, this is one strategy of 3 that I've been taught that are like day trades, intraday trades, trading strategies. And this was, by the way, just off of ETH on the 5-minute time frame. So There's a lot of potential with this. Again, I'll get more into this, but I just wanted to share this with you. I wanted to share with you what I was been doing on the YouTube front, so you guys understand that there will be more content regarding this in the future. I just don't know how I'm gonna do it yet, when I'm gonna do it, etc. So that will be figured out, but I wanted to just talk to you guys about this. I've been trading for almost a year now. Started off very poorly with my own money. Anyways, I could go on with stories, but no, I genuinely think there's a lot of potential here. I think this is definitely an opportunity, but again, I will get more. I don't want to release something that is not authentic to you guys. I don't want to rush anything out, so that will all be handled. But I just want to share with you, this is what I planned on doing in the bear market. I mean, guys, February, March, April, like these were bad months for crypto. Was it a bear market? No, but you can trade all of this in different markets. Like with spot trading, you buy high or you buy low, sell high. With this, you can do this every single weekday. So there's no seasonality with this. Whereas with crypto, we have our swing downs, we have our swing ups. This you can trade every day. So this is why I see this as an opportunity. This is the journey that I've started, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. With all that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the video.